Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shannon, I am the Wisdom Wench, and today we are going to go over herbal electuaries. This form of medicine is thousands of years old and I had my first go at making one today. Didn't go as planned, which was entirely my fault, but in this video I'm going to go over a little bit about what are electuaries, why are they used, my experience of making one and how I would change it in the future. This is also a little bit of a lesson on bouncing back when things don't go quite as planned, or as hoped anyway. So let's get to it. This, in this little pot here, is a herbal electuary. Electuaries have been used for thousands of years as part of human history. I think some of the oldest recipes that have been written down are over 2,000 years old. What they are essentially they are powdered herbs or leaves that are mixed with a syrup to make this kind of paste that can vary in texture from being very, very syrupy to more of a paste, which is what I've made here. Electuaries can be used in a number of different ways, and they can be used with pretty much any herb or spice or flower, and with a bunch of different syrups as well. Traditionally, honey is used because there's a lot of medicinal benefits within honey. However, you can use things like molasses and date syrup and birch syrup as well. You could even use agave nectar if that's what you have handy. It's a little bit runnier and it won't make something as sticky, but it would work if that's what you have on hand. Historically, some really interesting things have been put in electuaries. There's this recipe from the 1600s in Italy by, I apologise to any and all Italian speakers watching this for the following 20 seconds. Niccolò Gervasi, written in his book The Antidoterium Panormitanum. Which is more commonly known as the Palermo Book of Antidotes, which was written and published in Palermo, Italy in 1670. In it, the author makes a couple of electuaries where he uses spices and flowers, which are pretty standard, but then he also powders gemstones like emeralds and rubies and puts that in there as well. I don't know if there is a link between kind of gemstones being used in electuaries, which was apparently more common than I'd expect, and the way crystals are used in healing today. I don't know if that's a timeline or if I've just completely made that up, but it was an interesting connection. The spices and flowers normally used in an electuary are quite bitter, quite astringent, which is that drying feeling in the mouth, and quite spicy, so they can be a little bit unpleasant to take in the doses that you would need to get their medicinal properties. That is where electuaries come in. Having it mixed with sweetened syrups and dried fruits makes it a little easier to take, a little bit sweeter. When the powdered herbs are mixed with something like a syrup, they actually have a very, very long shelf life. Something like this, at a conservative estimate, would last in the fridge for over a year. Probably closer to 2 or 3 if it kept consistently cold. There's something else that you can do with electuaries that I will show you later on in this video called a pastille. That's what I ended up actually doing with this. While this is just packed nice and tight into this jar, when I will take this, I will take a spoonful out and basically swallow this with water, just like a pill. So in the following bit, you're going to see my attempt at making it, everything I did wrong because I started with a recipe and very quickly decided to go somewhere else with it. So it didn't turn out quite as planned, but I am still actually quite happy with the results. So I will see you after the next segment, which is me attempting to make my electuary. This electuary was based mainly at gut health, but I really wanted a secondary use, which was anti-inflammatory, and then kind of a tertiary use of helping skin and hair. Because your skin is your largest organ and your gut microbiome does play a role in this, I decided to put a lot of great medicinal things for all three of those uses in this electuary. I used a number of ingredients, starting with fennel seeds. I used a hand coffee grinder to powder. It was fairly easy, it didn't take long. Benefits of fennel seeds include improving overall digestive health, but they've also been used in asthma and other respiratory ailments, and improving things like lactation, and it's really, really good for your skin. Secondary, I moved on to flax seeds. Also known as linseeds, they are a really good base for an electuary. They're very high in fibre, they're used to improve digestive health, relieve constipation, lower blood cholesterol. Overall, it's a very, very good ground up seed to use in this digestive electuary. I don't think I showed it in this video, but I actually moved on and added a little bit of ginger. Ginger is a very common spice. It's often used in digestive medications. It's also a big immune booster, anti-inflammatory, and it is also really good for your skin. So I often include ginger in tea, but I thought making this into the electuary would add a lovely little bit of spice. It smells fantastic and would really, really help boost all three of those properties. I also decided to add in some dried juniper berries as well. I did try to powder them just like I powdered the fennel seeds, but this didn't work out. They just kept turning. So I ended up having to actually use a food processor to get this to work. I'm glad I did, and it smelled fantastic. It was lovely and bright and fruity. It was gorgeous. Juniper berries have been used in the herbal treatment of gastrointestinal and autoimmune disorders for a very long time. They are potent antioxidants. They may help reduce inflammation, and they've been used as a medicinal ingredient for thousands of years. I mixed all of my dry ingredients together, the flaxseed, the linseeds, juniper berries and ginger powders. I put them all to one side, and I decided to then blend up the dried fruits. Not all electuary recipes use dried fruits. I just chose to in this one. It was given to me by my course, and because I wanted more of that paste texture rather than a syrupy texture, I decided to add them in to see how it went. I just used what I had at home, which was some dates and some sultanas. I tried to grind them up in a blender because I didn't want to use pestle and mortar. It was mostly successful. I did have some issues with it sticking to the sides of the blender, and I had to keep taking the blender off and bringing it back down. But as soon as I added some honey, it all blended into this beautiful smooth paste. That is when the magic really started to happen. So when I had this smooth, quite thick paste, which was a mix of dried fruits and honey, I mixed it in with all of my dry ingredients. Now this was probably the most difficult part. I tried putting it back into my blender a little bit just to see if that would help, but it became very immediately apparent that it was too thick, so it all came straight back out, and I decided to mix it by hand. I added a bit more honey to make it a lot smoother, and the honey I'm using is local honey to me, and it has a lot of really good antihistamine, anti-inflammatory properties. And if you've watched my previous video where I make a hay fever tea, I talk about it a lot more there, so go check that out if you'd like more information. I mixed it all into a paste, and it honestly smelled phenomenal. It smelled amazing, but it didn't come out taste-wise quite like I was expecting. So you'll get my live reaction and see what I did next. Okay, so she's done. We're going to try it now. It smells really good. So you're only supposed to take, I think, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. I actually feel really nervous. I don't know why. Because Zeus is just sitting behind me. Good boy. Oh, I like it. I really don't like it. Nope. Wow. I don't like that. really spicy and really sweet. I feel like I should try it again. I feel like maybe I just didn't mix a bit properly. Let's try again. I don't wanna. No. No. Nope. The aftertaste is it's really spicy and very warming, and I feel like this would be great for winter. But I don't like eating that. I wonder if you could like roll it in a pill, like a ball size format, and then take it with water. I think that's called a pastille. I'm gonna try doing that. Okay, so let's take a small, okay, roll it into a little ball. Oh. Okay. Okay. So this is called a pastille when it's rolled into a tiny little ball. I wonder if it's easier to take like this. I don't want to. I really don't want to. Okay. Again, it smells really good. Okay. Tiny, tiny pastille. That I can do. Okay. So I halved the size of the pastille. So if I made two little ones that are about this big, can you see? Woo! If I make two little ones that are about this big, okay, that's doable. So now you've seen me make the electuary. It's because I started divulging from the recipe, and I would recommend starting on a recipe. I like to practice something called intuitive herbalism, which is where you do let your innate intuition guide you. Now, I wouldn't do that for other people. For other people, you stick to recipes and dosages. But for me and the people in my household, I find I learn better and I learn quicker with a greater kind of sense of the herbs when I'm allowing my intuition to take me where I feel it needs to go. I've been learning a lot about ginger recently, so that's why I decided to add some ginger in there, and the aftertaste of it was fantastic actually. It was really nice, but the initial, it's very spicy. So that is why taking a small amount of it, rolling it into a pastille and swallowing it with water will ensure that I'll get all of the benefit of those herbs, but I don't have to deal with the taste so much. All in all, making this electuary was a really fun experience. I genuinely felt myself having fun while doing this. I don't think I'd use a food processor on it again. It nearly broke mine, so we're not going to do that. But I did genuinely have a lot of fun making this, and while it wasn't exactly as planned, I know I have got a digestive medicine here that I'm probably going to take on a fairly regular basis in winter. This is very, very very warming, and I don't think I need it so much in summer, but in winter, especially when I'm eating a lot of more of the very hearty foods but really stodgy foods, I think this is really going to help. Taking this just before meals to aid in digestion and clearing out my digestive system. So thank you so much for being here with me again today. I've had so much fun making this. It's a beautiful sunny day outside and it really feels like summer is on its way. I think it's the solstice next week, which I'm really looking forward to. It felt quite nice to have a very slow, lazy day at home, playing with plants and making medicine, and it just felt fun. It was really fun. Did you ever do that thing when you were a kid where you got like soil and berries and you were like making a potion in the garden? It felt like that, but as an adult, and it's something useful. So I'm very happy with this, even though it didn't turn out exactly as planned, even though I don't like the taste of it, just straight. I feel like I have created something that is going to help me, and I'm excited for it. I'm very happy with everything that I've made. I hope you have a lovely week, a lovely solstice. Please comment down below if you can, if you've ever tried this, if you've ever heard of this. If you learned something new today, please let me know. This community, it's so brings such a smile to my face, and it's so bright, and I love it here. And I want to thank all of you for this little corner of the internet you're on with me. And like, comment, subscribe, share if you feel called to. It really does help. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Why did I just go to stop the video? Why? Why would I do that? Oh, my brain, it's melted with the sun. I'm going to store this as it is in the little jar, put it in the fridge, and then as and when I need to take it, I will roll it into the little pastille balls and then swallow it with water. So this way I'm still getting the medicine, but I don't have to taste that. Wait. Woo. Yeah! Just because I really love pie. I love pie. But pie does not love me. So,